Food safety has got to be our top priority. We're an ambient hub, and that means that we only collect food that can be kept safely at room temperature. We don't handle chilled food, although we hope to do so later on. So if we get given chilled food by mistake, we need to be really careful that we don't distribute it. So here's a lovely pot of tzatziki. It's got a use by date on it. We cannot distribute that. That needs to go to composting. It's not safe because we can't be sure that it hasn't got to a dangerous temperature on its way here, and we can't guarantee that we can keep it at a safe temperature to go to the groups. So anything with a use by date, even if it is within the use by date, and it could be, it says a use by date of next week, we cannot distribute that. It's got to go in the bin. We can distribute all food with a best before date. A best before date is just a quality date. It marks the time at which food is at its peak quality, and food will still be really good to eat for weeks, months, and possibly even years afterwards. We set a threshold that we will not distribute beyond 3 months. And the one exception is that we won't ever distribute eggs past their best before date, because there's a risk of salmonella in eggs, and that increases as the egg gets towards its best before date. But that isn't usually the issue. Most of the eggs that we get are because they've been a bit bashed about. They're sometimes a bit messy. And what we like to do is to send it exactly as it is to the groups so they can see what they're getting. We give them advice not to use cracked eggs, and we wrap it in plastic so that it doesn't contaminate any of the other food in the food box. On some foods, you'll see a sell-by or a display until date. These are just for the store's use. They have nothing to do with safety. So the real date that you have to pay attention to is the use-by date, and we don't distribute anything with a use-by date on it.
Okay, so we distribute bread. Sliced bread we'll distribute up to 3 days after its best before date. All other baked goods we distribute 1 day after its best before date. Fruit and vegetables. Fruit and veg, you do by observation. Basically, give it a good look. As long as there's no decomposition and the vegetables are good, distribute them. Store cupboard foods, tin cans. Check the can for damage. A big dent like this is unacceptable. 2 small dents, potentially it's okay. But what we need to do is ensure that the seal of the can is not damaged, because a damaged seal can let in bacteria such as botulism, which could potentially prove fatal if anyone tried to consume the goods.
So the final thing to think about is allergens. There are 14 food types that are extremely allergenic. It includes celery, sesame seeds, peanuts. When we're distributing food to our groups, we note on the sort card if there are products that they can't take. And there is one school, for example, where they have a pupil who reacts to there being a sesame seed almost in the room. So we need to help those groups by not sending them food that could cause an allergic reaction. But it is the responsibility of the group to check that the food that we're sending is suitable for their client group.